Her name was Jen, and she haunted the corners of my teenage years like a ghost I couldn't exorcise. We met at 13, a chance encounter that should have been a red flag. She wasn't interested in me, not even a little. Her first words were to ask about my best friend. She had her eyes on him. An omen if ever there was one. But fate has a way of twisting its knife, doesn't it? Despite her initial interest in someone else, Jen and I clicked as friends almost immediately. She had a laugh that was infectious, a wit sharp enough to keep me coming back for more. We were inseparable. Late-night phone calls, weekend hangouts, deep dives into thoughts most kids our age would have been too shy to share. Yet for all our closeness, I wanted more, and she didn't. By the time I turned 15, I had something most other kids in our small Louisiana town didn't: a car, a little used hunk of metal that I worshipped because it gave me freedom. Jen saw it differently. To her, it was a ticket, a ride to her house, a lift to the mall, a way to meet boys who weren't me. It didn't matter. She could have asked me to drive her to the ends of the earth, and I would have done it with a smile. I rationalized my devotion, telling myself this was what friends did, deep down, though I knew better. Looking back, I find it amusing how every boy she dated seemed to hate me. They'd glare, posture, and on occasion threaten to fight me. At the time, I didn't understand their hostility. Now I do. I was a shadow they couldn't shake, always around, always lingering, always closer to Jen than they were comfortable with. Teenage insecurity is a strange beast. It wasn't as if I didn't try to move on. I dated other girls, even had real feelings for a few of them. Jen hated every single one. One girl wasn't smart enough for me, another was trailer trash. Then there was the rocker chick. She was different, she liked the same bands I did, the same books. We got close fast, too fast for Jen's liking. Jen, who had been friends with her before, stopped talking to her entirely. Until that is, Jen picked up the phone one day and told her that I had slept with half of Jen's friends. The fallout was swift. The rocker chick ended things. I was stunned, blindsided. And when I confronted Jen, her excuse was maddeningly simple. "I just don't think you two mesh well. She's not right for you." That line haunted me for years. I couldn't watch Clueless without hearing Jen's voice in my head. There were other moments, countless ones, like the night I rushed her to the emergency room, or the time she sabotaged my attempts at flirting with a girl by plopping herself between my legs at the skating rink. I was her best friend, her confidant, her chauffeur, and I wanted to believe that meant something to her. But as we neared the end of high school, the truth became harder to ignore. Our senior year, we were both single. I decided to take the plunge. I laid my heart bare, told her everything, my feelings, my love for her. She laughed it off, laughed. "You're my best friend," she said. "I don't want to ruin that." She tried setting me up with her other friends after that, as if to prove just how firmly she had friend-zoned me. Eventually, I gave up. What was the point of chasing something that would never be mine? Then came the summer after graduation. She turned 18 before me, and with the legal drinking age being 18 in Louisiana, she disappeared into a haze of bars, parties, and older crowds. I couldn't follow her, there couldn't keep up. Our phone calls dwindled to nothing. Our weekend hangouts stopped altogether. I realized then that I had been useful to Jen: a convenience, a car, a sounding board. Once she found new distractions, my role in her life was obsolete. By August, I was ready to leave it all behind. College awaited, 4 hours away in a town where no one knew my name. It was a fresh start, and I needed it. I spent that summer working at my father's business, counting down the days until move-in. 3 days before I left, Jen showed up unannounced at my work. She looked different, fragile in a way I wasn't used to seeing. Her eyes were red, her voice trembling as she asked me to step outside. Standing beside her car in the parking lot, she broke down. "I don't want you to go," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I want you to stay here. I want you to stay close to me." For a moment, I froze. The audacity of it struck me like a physical blow. After all the years of chasing her, all the late nights spent wondering if I'd ever be enough. She waited until the 11th hour to say something. I clenched my fist, trying to keep the storm inside me from spilling over. When I finally spoke, my voice was calm but firm. number I'm moving. I hope you have a wonderful life, Jen. I have to get back to work. Her sobs echoed in the parking lot as I walked away, but I didn't look back, not once. Months later, I heard through the grapevine that Jen had gotten pregnant from some casual fling. By the time her child was 3, she had married a man who, by all accounts, was good to her. They built a life together, had more kids, and Jen faded into the background of my memory. She reached out once, years ago, during a brief visit home for a funeral. She'd called my parents' house asking for me. I was in the shower, and when my mom told me Jen had called, I simply shrugged. "I'm not calling her back," I said. And that was that. Last I heard, she's happy. I'm happy too. Life moves on, even when the ghosts of the past linger at the edges of your mind. But every now and then, late at night, I wonder if she ever thinks about the parking lot, about the tears, about the boy who finally walked away.